Once a month, twice a month.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Board of Trustees regular meeting, August 5th, 2014 at 4 p.m.
Call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
I understand Mr. Genowise on vacation?
Good.
And Simcoe's here.
I'd like to, if you would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Were there any questions on the minutes from last month?
I'll move approval of the special meeting of July 15th.
I'll second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. I'll move approval of the regular meeting of July 15th.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. Were there any additions or deletions, John?
I have none.
Okay. Hearing of the public?
Nobody signed in?
Nobody sign in? Okay. Darrell, if you don't mind?
Good afternoon. I just have one quick item here, Resolution 14083, authorization of abatement for the property on Sedalia Road.
I'll offer resolution, 14-083, authorization for property abatement.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Darrell, thanks for all your work too last week on some of the questions I had for you. Appreciate it. Yep, as always, thank you. Public Works Department, Greg?
Good afternoon. Monthly report for July has been submitted. We've had a very productive month. The list goes on further. We have completed item C with the Meadows subdivision. That'll be completed this week. Take that back. Curb repair is in critical condition, crumbling areas there on Joel and Jamesford. And our crack seal program, as you can see, some of the subdivisions listed there. Other information is posted for your review. Also, just this week, Gherkin's moved in for more road resurfacing on High Oaks and Sunbreeze Trail up at Woodstream, west of Mitchell in subdivisions there. That's part of the OPWC project as number 3A shows on the screen. Other than that, that's all I have for the monthly report.
Quick question for you, Darrell. Sorry, Greg. How the chip and seal that we had on Meriwether? Have you guys take a look? How's that looking after a year of use? Is it thin? If you get a chance, no hurry. Just let me know how. I'm just curious how it's looking. And I can probably drive by it myself and see it too.
Okay. It should remain pretty decent here for all of this year and next year. Typically, at least get 5 years out of that.
Great.
Next item I have is authorization to advertise for bid for the 2014 leaf pickup. I hate to say it, but we need to start thinking about leaf pickup and then purchasing salt soon.
I'll author resolution 14-082, advertise leaf pickup.
Second.
On the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
I got a question. How do you bid that?
The leaf pickup
Yeah.
per hour
Per hour?
on the hour basis.
Okay. Do you normally get more than one bidder?
Normally, yes. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Next up, I know there's no anything under the fire department, but I asked the chief to prepare a small report about the water situation we had. And before he speaks, I'd like to just compliment the fire department for the yeoman's job they did during this crisis. I use the word crisis. The chief was downtown many times at the meetings. He got the fire department to pump the water from Olander to make about 60 or 60,000 gallons of pure water for people for the distribution center. So I just want to compliment him on that. And the fire department on a nice job they did. And now he has a little summation.
Good evening. I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version of this real quick. As everyone, we were notified the same way as everyone else was through our text alert program that we have about the water emergency. Early in the morning of Saturday, I received a phone call from Chief John Barnes from the 180th Tactical Group, where he informed me that any municipality with elevated water towers could expect a reduction in our water pressure. That concerned us. From that time, we asked Chief Barnes to initiate the Lucas County tanker operations plan that we had in place through Lucas County Fire Chiefs. In doing so, we had agreements with Richfield Township and Ottawa Lake Township to go ahead and roll the tanker for any fire that we had. So we had 2 tankers coming, code 2. Once the incident commander arrived on scene, they would up them if we chose to a code 3 or emergent response. During that time, early morning hours, we tried to figure out how much water the fire department had on hand. So we had to make sure that our guys are hydrated also. We were short, caught us actually in the middle of a reordering. So we were able to get water from Myers. Myers was kind enough to give the fire department 10 cases of water. We also got 10 cases of water from the hardware store up here in town. So we were able to ascertain that our guys were okay. Chief Ram and I then went to every nursing home and every extended care facility in our district, making sure that they were okay for the next 24-hour operational period. Whenever we open up the Emergency Operations Center downtown, we go on operational periods. We try to make sure that we're okay for the first 8 hours and then the next 8 hours and the following 8 hours. So we sort of get things into areas that we can actually bite and chew rather than trying to take care of the whole incident at one time. We visited Kingston, Arbors, Lake Park, Franciscan Care Center, Sylvania Center, and Sisters of St. Francis, and they all assured us that they would be okay with water for the next 12 to 24 hours. I was contacted early in the afternoon, again by the Emergency Operations Center, asking us if we could provide fresh water out of a public access point in Sylvania. My first thought was Olander, and then I called John, interrupted him of his day on Saturday, and made sure it was okay for us to put an engine at the water line of Olander Park and start to pump water. We used our spare engine, engine 65, which I'll tell you, that thing's old and it's tired, but it purred like a kitten the whole time. And I think that's because Al, our mechanic, takes good care of those things. And we pumped water for approximately 12 hours, and we pumped 36,800, I just rounded it off to 37,000 gallons of water that first operational period. We had tankers from Wauseon, Liberty Center, Harris, Elmore, Archibald, and Carroll Township that were staged in the parking lot and picking the water up. These tankers took the water to sites where they had the 180th, they had the National Guard go ahead and supply us with water purifiers. These purifiers could take dirty water, make it into clean water for public consumption. So we supplied those areas, along with Monclova also got water out of Salisbury Quarry. The second day, actually that night then, I was contacted late that night and asked if one of us could go to the Emergency Operations Center to help out with taking over the Emergency Operations Center. So what I did is asked Chief Ram, because he and I were the only 2 left in town, if he wouldn't mind going down there. Well, he went down there, unfortunately, for 12 hours, and I'll tell you, he was the incident commander of the entire incident. I heard him on the radio all night till, I think I wrapped it up about 5 a.m., and I don't think you got out of there till 7? 8 o'clock. He made us all proud. He did a fine job at the Emergency Operations Center, very professional, and handled things. When somebody asked him for a resource, he had it right there and ready to go. So he did a fine job on the first day. The second day, we were again asked to start the operations at the lake. This day, we were there for 8 hours. We pumped 32,600 gallons of water out of Olander Park. We did have the deck done going at the same time to cool the pump, and people thought we were putting water into the park. rather than taking it out, but we were actually sucking water out of the park. Portage, Erie Township, Damascus, Catawba Island, and Napoleon were the tankers that we went ahead and supplied that day, and only went down an inch. So, okay, only an inch. On Sunday, I did direct, because I was busy doing things, and I know Chief Ram had gone home late in the morning to go to bed. I directed all of our fire stations to revisit the nursing homes to see if they were okay for the next 24-hour period. We had requests from Sisters of St. Francis and Sunset Village to obtain water for them, so I sent our crews out to the DOT disbursement center to pick up water, and we delivered water to those facilities. Again, later on that evening, we were asked to send somebody down to the Emergency Operations Center, and actually Chief Ram volunteered to go down for the second time, and again did a fine job all night long, making sure that everything was taken care of, all assets were getting where they should be, and everybody was getting the water that they all needed. During the early morning hours of Monday, I was called by the EOC again, asked if we could set up a water distribution site at Southview High School. So I worked with Bill Sanford and Chief Rodas from the city to start that process happening. We had it all set up to start the distribution at 11 o'clock, and I think Mayor Collins came out about 10 o'clock or 9:45 and said the water's ready to drink. So basically that's what we did on the fire department side during this process. One of the things is that was very evident in the downtown EOC is that, you know, we're used to these things, we pre-planned for them, we had books on just about anything and everything that was happening in our area, and we try to sit time from time and see what if this happens, what do we do? And that was very evident because everything went real smoothly downtown. And again, compliment Chief Ram on the job he did.
Great job, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Yeah, great job.
Once again, thank you, Chief, and the whole fire department.
Mike, thanks.
Thanks all in the park. Yeah, I put my other hat on that day. Police Department, you have anything? You have anything for police? Next up is Administrator, and I'll call Susan up to talk about the Resolution 14065.
If you recall, at the last meeting, you approved the Insurance Committee's recommendation for the insurance program for 2015. Also, if you recall, when we looked at their recommendation, we kind of held up on what we wanted to do with the biometric screening, as far as incentives are concerned. So I met with the Wellness Committee, because they're the ones that take care of that. And what you see in Resolution 14085 is their recommendation. One of the snags that we talked about was, should we make the biometric mandatory for everyone, which would be very costly. And along with that, when you tie the results to an incentive, then you have to offer alternatives, and you have to pay for those as well. So the committee talked about it at length. Our concern is the main concern is we want people to know what their numbers are. There's a lot of people out there that have no clue that they have high cholesterol or their blood pressure is too high. And the idea is to get people to get those numbers and take some preventative measures so that it doesn't result in a heart attack or something like that down the line. So their recommendation at this point is that everyone who takes the biometric, which will be voluntary, will receive a $50 gift card to take the test. Once they get those results back, those people who are choosing to stay on the low plan or Plan B of our insurance program, once they get the results back, they can either take those and discuss those with their physician, or if any time throughout the 2015 calendar year they get a preventative exam, which could be a mammogram, colonoscopy, something like that. Once they turn in proof that they've done that, they can get the second $50 gift card. Those people who are going to choose the high deductible, the new health insurance plan with an HSA, they will receive their second half of the township's contribution, which is the $400 or the $500. They'll receive that amount into their HSA account. So that is the Wellness Committee's recommendation for 2015. Do you have any questions?
I'll move approval of Resolution 1485.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good hard work on that, Susan. Nice job.
By the way, if you haven't been to an insurance meeting, tomorrow's the last day. So we have several planned for tomorrow. So hopefully you can make one of them if you haven't been to one yet.
Yes, that's explaining the HSA and our different options that we have, and it's very informative. Next up is a review of a liquor permit at 7865 West Central. This is a new business. It's, I think it's what they used to call, at one time there was a sign in front, it was going to be the Pelican Restaurant. At one time it was a motorcycle shop, and now it's a consignment shop, and this will be a new carryout. I have letters from the police and fire. They have no objections to the permit. Once again, as long as you're comfortable with it, no action needs to be taken. No action, we'll move on to the fiscal officer. Mr. Simcoe?
We just have one resolution, it's 14-084, and it's to create the creation and approval of 4 capital project funds. We actually do have these funds, but we are formalizing creation of the funds and actually establishing some numbers for them. It is pursuant to revised code 5705.13, authorizes creation of these funds, and it actually is formalizing what we're doing now by establishing these accounts. Jim, anything else to add to that?
No, it's a kind of housekeeping
Yeah.
deal.
Okay.
I'll move approval of resolution 1484.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Any open discussion for today?
Just one item. Everything's online now for the various fire department review study, all the updates, all the additional questions asked by the trustees and the public. That's all online. I forgot, it's been up maybe a week. Everything's online, all the information on the fire department review.
Excellent, thanks, John. Hearing of the public for non-agenda items?
Nobody signed in.
Wow, I would like to make a motion to adjourn at 4:18.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Or you could become the new chair.
Okay.